I caught my wife of 10 years cheating red-handed. My 28 male wife 28 female cheated on me with another man, and I caught her. About a week ago, she started hanging out with some new girlfriends who I had never met before, and from the very beginning, I got a gnarly gut feeling something was off. I wanted to respect her space and let her have her girl time like she said. Especially because she told me there were no guys involved. One of the friends in the group had been recently cheated on and didn't want to be around men. Ironic. The first girl time day, I told myself to calm down and let her have fun. But then, the second time she went out, this last Wednesday, I felt this urge to surprise her. I decided I'd pop in at the barcade they were at, surprise her with a round of drinks, say a quick hi, and then piss off and play some games on my own. It sounded like a decent plan, but when I walked up to the bar, my stomach dropped. I saw her, laughing and holding some guy close, and kissing him, right there, out in the open. My heart felt like it just sank straight to the floor. I walked right up to them, couldn't stop myself even if I tried. I looked at the guy and asked him if he knew she was married. He hung his head in shame and nodded. This piece of shit knew. Then I looked at her, and when I said, "So you've been cheating on me," she admitted it right then and there. No denial, no excuses. Just a simple yes. The guy tried to butt in with something, but I shot him a glare that could kill, and he left in silence. Good riddance. That drive home alone, I should not have driven, to be honest. I was stone sober, but I was sobbing the whole way. At one point, I had to pull over because I had a full-blown panic attack. I've never felt anything like it, just complete physical pain and this sense of pure betrayal and shock. When I confronted her later, she gave me this speech about how I didn't love her enough, that I didn't give her enough attention or affection, and that my depression and stress had been ruining our marriage. She said that I wasn't the same person anymore, that I had changed. The thing is, I've been working 2 jobs just to keep us afloat because she only works part-time. Maybe she's right, maybe I haven't been the perfect husband. But then why didn't she just leave me, if she was that unhappy? We don't have kids, we're not well off. I make around $50,000 a year. So we've just been getting by. The only thing we have are some pets and, until recently, what I thought was a stable marriage. But that's shattered now, and the physical pain of all this is like nothing I've ever felt before. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, and to make matters worse, she's moving in with this guy by the end of the month. As much as I want to hate her, the thought of losing her completely is almost unbearable. She was my world, my best friend, the person I thought I'd spend my life with. Yeah, maybe I didn't kiss her enough or cuddle her like she wanted, but I thought we were still solid. I thought she understood me, that she knew how much I loved her, even if I wasn't perfect at showing it. She's leaving at the end of the month, and even after all of this, the thought of saying goodbye, of never seeing her again, or at least not seeing her in the same way, feels like it's going to break me in two. My eyes actually hurt from crying so much. I feel like my chest is caving in every time I think about it. I love her, but I also hate her for doing this to me. I feel betrayed, traumatized, and lost. I don't know how I'll ever get over this. I'm not even sure who I am without her. I don't know what I'm hoping for by posting this, but I just need to get it off my chest. Edit. Thank you all for your supportive words. Some of it hurts to read, but most of it is true. I'm holding on to the hope that maybe some of the best days are still ahead of me. Edit 2. Just for clarity, we've been together for 10 years, married for 6, yet felt clumsy to clarify that in the title and forgot to add it in the story. Edit 3. To be clear, she had brought up issues before about my lack of affection and attention, and how my depression and stress were difficult for her. After those talks, I'd tried to be more loving, more attentive, but all it took was a few days of slipping up, a depressive episode, and we'd be back to square one. Edit 4. I have been officially diagnosed with severe depression. I'm not self-diagnosing here. I thought that might be important for context. Edit 5. Wow, I really didn't expect this to blow up the way it did. I'm sorry, I can't respond to everyone, but I want to thank you all for your thoughts, your stories, and your kindness. Next story. I paid a girl to be my girlfriend, my dumbass fell in love with her. Edit. Our Reddit and its passion for hating women. To clarify, she's not an OnlyFans girl or anything like that. We knew each other from high school, but we hadn't seen each other since. Our entire situation was over text and FaceTime. I'm the only person she's ever done anything like this with. Go ahead and call me naive for believing her, but I do. Yep, straight out of a green text meme. Me 20 for male and G 20 to female had an arrangement that lasted several months. We knew each other from high school, and our arrangement started with me paying her to send me pictures of her body. Nothing wild, no explicit content, just her. But over time, this arrangement developed into something more, if you can even call it that. It was clear, though we never outright said it, that I was paying her to be more than just some girl sending pics. She became my girlfriend in a way. She'd check in on me throughout the day, listen to my rants, and genuinely seem to put effort into making me feel supported. Now, I'm not so clueless as to think this would have happened if money weren't involved, but she did seem to care about me. We were both pretty honest about our feelings, how things started off shallow, but had somehow grown into something a bit deeper. We both understood that it was all based on an arrangement. She was grateful for the support I gave, and I was equally grateful for hers. At the time, I was going through a rough patch, personal issues, work stress, self-esteem in the gutter, and having someone there like her was what I really needed. No matter how it started, the comfort and affection she offered became a lifeline. Eventually, I started thriving again. Once, I told her that having her in my life had changed the way I saw myself, that she'd helped me find some light in my life. I could tell it resonated with her. She even cried tears of joy over it. Somewhere along the line, I fell for her hard. It became an obsession, a fixation. And as that feeling grew, I started realizing how unhealthy it was becoming. So, I talked to her, I told her what I was feeling, and that it was time to end things. She didn't try to lead me on or take advantage of my emotions, and in hindsight, we both came out better because of it. I'm grateful for what she did for me during that time, but now I'm stuck with these unrealistic expectations about relationships. I know I'll be hung up on her for a while. This post seems to be getting a bit of attention, so here's a little extra context. She was the one who suggested sending pictures in the first place. She was in a tough financial spot. She was transparent about it and honestly ashamed, even though they weren't nudes or anything explicit. Me, being in a vulnerable spot, accepted. From there, things escalated. Over time, we got to know each other well. I'd say I know her better than some people I've actually dated in person. We'd have these hours-long conversations, and I started to realize that she had so many qualities I valued: kindness, resilience, humor. It surprised me, but I saw her as someone genuine. Eventually, when we both acknowledged that I was paying her for more than just pictures, I started giving her gifts without expecting anything in return. Small stuff, like things she'd mentioned wanting, or getting her food when she was sick. She was always grateful, sometimes even overwhelmed by my gestures. She'd send long messages thanking me, saying no one had ever cared for her like that before. I was wary about being manipulated, so I brought it up a few times. Each time, we talked openly, and she assured me it wasn't like that. Either she was the best actor in the world, or she really meant what she said. In the end, I trusted her. Even when I didn't send anything for a while, her level of care didn't change. She was genuinely happy to talk to me. Those are things that you can't really fake. Like I said, back then I was in a pretty dark place, some issues out of my control. Some things I'd gotten myself into. But having her around pushed me to get better. I made real changes in my life, and she cheered me on every step of the way. It was inspiring to watch her work towards her own goals too. When I told her that she'd been a huge influence on me, it moved her to tears. She sent this huge paragraph about how much that meant to her, and I'll never forget it. But then I started getting too attached. I couldn't focus on anything else, and it just became toxic for me. I could tell her anything by that point, so I opened up about it and told her that I thought it was best to end our arrangement. She understood, but she admitted it hurt her too. She said I could always reach out, and we still talk from time to time. Now, only she knows how she truly feels about me, but I believe she was genuine. Our emotions are messy and complicated. What started as a shallow arrangement somehow grew into something real. A close friend even said that they thought G might have wanted something real with me too. G never said it outright, but sometimes I pick up on hints here and there though. I might have been misinterpreting. Even so, I knew it couldn't last. This whole thing was built on a transaction, no matter how we felt. Looking back now with more clarity, I can't believe she was just using me. I've shared parts of our conversations with people I trust, and they've said the same. She seemed real. I know I'll never truly know her, and I'm probably idealizing her to some extent. But no matter how I try to dissect it, she was a good person who just happened to connect with me in this weird, unexpected way. You may read all this and feel a certain way about me, but only she and I truly understand what this meant to me. Things are better for me now, and I'm actually in a very healthy and happy place. But I know I wouldn't be here if I hadn't met her.